Thomas, Andy, Ethan.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, good. Any questions from last time? So far so good. Okay, so I'm going to continue the VirtualBox installation. Let's see what we left off. So last time I was able to turn off this audio. This is the issue for the crash. If I choose now audio driver, I think like essentially don't have audio driver. It actually, let's see, it actually works. So I'm trying to put a game and see what's inside and start to install software inside it. So that's the plan for today. This is where we left. What's new in Ubuntu? So notice the resolution is pretty limited, and it doesn't go like resize itself. So there is a extension thing. We can do that. Let's quickly go through this. Don't send system info. Okay, we're here. Let's check how our network works. Okay, network works. So next, I think I'm going to get the resolution a little bit better. I'm going to try to install the extension. So here is a insert guest extension image. So this is the VirtualBox provided a kind of software to enhance the experience for what's my password? To enhance the experience of the this is called the guest system inside VirtualBox. So I want to get the resolution of this screen larger. So it provides software. It's a kind of virtual CD insert to the machine and try to install some extension to enhance the experience for it. So did we finish? Let's try it again. I remember it will ask you for it will ask you for until it started. Okay, I may need to restart it. Okay, now it's scale mode, full screen mode. Still didn't change the resolution. It's a scale mode, so it doesn't change resolution, but let's see. Do we have actually too small. Okay, it actually works. So, so you see now after installing station, it's going to scale as we drag the window size, which is what we want. Cool. So we see the VirtualBox running inside. What's this? Okay, so there's some updates. Let it run in background. So quickly for the command line. Basically, command line is a command prompt. It's a text environment. So you issue commands like list directories, like ls. Have detect different parameters. Usually, one way to kind of get more out of the command, you use a man. It will actually show you the options. You'll see like all those dash whatever options. So those are the tools on like Linux machine or Mac machine with like powerful capabilities. Even it seems simple, but if you look into each of those options, they are very, very powerful. So very frequent use ones, like I think is the CD, which is going to different directories. So here we see we have a download directory here. So go to download, and there is like pwd, what is my current directory. Also you can let's see, so download is currently empty. Also you can have some can create a new folder, so make directory, and then you will see actually make a folder. Questions?
Isn't CD space for Windows, like PowerShell?
I think, yeah, Windows also have similar kind of command line tools. So some of them have aliases or synonyms, which is kind of similar. But if you look at their detailed manual, they have some like nuance with some difference. But yes, like Windows, like those command line tools or shells is pretty much kind of standard for those kind of very basic tools, like basic utilities. So like CD, ls, make directory, they have very similar names because those tools go back to like maybe how many years, like I don't know how many years, like 30, 40 years. So people, when they write those tools, they kind of use the similar names. PowerShells, I believe they have a little bit different syntax. So on Windows, you notice on Linux and Mac, the path is always slash this way. On Windows, they have like I'm not sure if this is backward slash, so for the path. But Windows, I think recently they come out with a Linux subsystem. Actually, you can have Ubuntu running on Windows kind of natively. They call it the Windows Linux subsystem. So in that way, you get also like very similar syntax for those commands. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So where we are. So we have a folder. So I will see. So you can see we create a new folder, and we don't have anything yet. But if you do like a, you will see dot and two dot. So you have like a different options. You will show different results. So here I'm going to tell it to show the actual like the time, and this is ownership. So this is also important for understanding the privilege for each files. So you see here it breaks down into roughly 3 parts. The parts of the first few characters, and then you see this WXR. W means write, X means execute, R means read, and this hyphen, which is like also a placeholder for W, is empty here. So those are called the masks for those files. So Linux is a multi-user system. So if you look at who am I, this is my user. And also you can see which group you are in. So I am in multiple different groups. You can actually have multiple users and they have different groups. So those files who created and assigned to which group, they will have different kind of privilege flag. Those dot and 2 dot dot means the current folder. 2 dot dot means parent folder. So you can use 2 dot dot to go back to parent folders. So it's the way to navigate like from a graphic UI. It's kind of equivalent. You click through the different folders. So this is the way using a command line tool to kind of navigate the system. This is very important when we're actually building stuff, like especially for programming. You will spend a lot of time actually in the command line. Ask me to start later. So to recap a little bit, so we introduced some simple commands. By the way, if you use the up arrow, you will see the command you issued before. So if you issue some command earlier, you can just repeat it. Also, there is a history command. History command, it will show you what command you have been run. Also, there is so we are, what kind of shell we are, like what program is this? So there is a command called PS, which is short for process. You see the current process running, it's called bash. So actually this program, well, not this UI itself, but this shell itself is called bash. Like the syntax we use, like the cd and ls and some of the commands is kind of has a bash style syntax. If you use a different shell, we'll install like this or something later, they'll have a little bit different style, and you can kind of customize also the graphics, like how things use. Cool. This is pretty new. To me this is a new machine because I just install things on a brand new system, and I'm trying to customize that a little bit for our purpose. So I'm going to go to my kind of initialization script for like every machine I'm trying to do, called dotfiles. So this is a repo kind of, I like to initialize the machine this way. So I'm going to issue a couple of commands to kind of customize my command line a little bit. So Control C and Control Shift V. When you copy things into command line, use Command Shift C and Command Shift V. So here we have an issue. We don't have Git. So it asks you to do installation this way. So this is the equivalent way of install softwares using a command line tool also, which is called apt. Install Git. So it also has a sudo behind it, prefix. So sudo is also a command. Means like a super user kind of privilege. So it asks the system to use the administrator's privilege to run another command, which is apt, which has some parameters, which is install git. This is kind of equivalent, kind of you install some software, system prompts you to ask, do you agree to change your system? So this sudo gives that privilege. Let's see if we don't use sudo. We just say apt install git. It will see permission defined for trying to hold a file or something. That means you don't have the access. But let's do something more interesting. I'm going to do another command, sudo su, and you see who am I become root. Let's see what does that mean. Trying to get this one on the front. So then open another tab. So here you see who am I is E, but here you see it's after we use sudo, it's root. So root, you also see the prompt change a little bit. It's become a hash sign. So here, if we run install git, it didn't ask you this question like permission defined. That's because this root user is the kind of the administrator user, have all the privileges to change the system. So essentially, the sudo apt install is actually kind of run the command as the root user. Any questions? I'll take them as a no. Okay, so now we have this git command installed. So what is git? It's a version control tool to version control your code. So pretty much today every software system is using Git to version control their code, like GitHub, GitLab. So they have a lot of parameters. What I'm trying to do previously is trying to get some of the bootstrapping softwares into my system. So so this is the tool. I'm trying to clone it into my current folder. So what is home? So this is a concept called environment variables. So you see this $sign followed by characters. Those like variables. If you know like Python or other programming language, this is the kind of equivalent variables in the shell. Also, there is a command called env. It will show all those variables in this command system. You can see there are actually a lot already assigned. One important one is pass. I want to point out this is where you locate your command. Let's see where is which is what is the path for those commands. You see some of them they must be exist in those paths. So when we type in some commands, the system is going to search the column separated. They're going to search those paths to find the file. So ls, like those commands, actually is a file. They actually correspond to executable files. Those are like applications. So all those things, like those files, correspond to one file. So when we actually issue those commands, they trigger the file, execute the file. Actually, then then start to execute the command. So the pass is where they find those. We can customize those paths to introduce another location where those binaries could be found. So not necessarily only those passes. Those are somewhat the system default paths for. You see, they all kind of has bin like binary in their names. Like some of them are user local, user. Some of them like bins. So those are the kind of default paths for a lot of the commands. So let's continue to get my system bootstrapped. So the first one is a tool to kind of called consync. Home. It's for now it's like it's a customized. It's a tool to manage my dot files. I'm also cloning those dot files. So here another thing. When trying to clone it, you ask you the fingerprint of this. So this is the kind of network security thing, because GitHub use different IPs for the same domain name. So when you download some files, for security, it's trying to track which IP it's come from. If you have a new IP, it asks you like something changed. Do you want to still continue? For now, we're going to trust them. Okay, now I have those things cloned. So where are they? So I cloned a bunch of folders in here. Okay, so now I'm going to use a tree command, which is a tree listing tool, like to list my list like a folder structure from current point. So I cloned some file. Let's do that again. Just make sure. Get everything. Okay, so it's not empty, so it's already there. So I have my repos. I have my dot files. So those are source. So this is another command. I source this file. What is this file? This file is, let's see what's content. This file is a shell script. It's running. It defines a function called homesync. It's trying to kind of set up some initializations for the homesync software. So it actually, what I really want to do is a homesync link. So it will help me to link a bunch of previous defined dot files to my system. What is dot files? So if you look at the like home folders, you will see you have this .bashrc and a lot of other dot files. So those files are usually configuration files. If you look at the let's see what's content of bashrc. It's set up some like initial environment variables and also alias some commands. So those are the setup for the shells. So you can change the behavior for some of the commands, like say this one, like we alias ll to ls this command, and you can actually see it doesn't show up here. But you can issue ll command without any problem because that is kind of redefined another way. So a lot of those dot files are customization script, kind of configuration script for some particular command or software tools. Let's see why this seems not work the way I want. So it's so unless was ignored. Okay. So now I'm going to kind of bootstrap my system. Right. Another thing is so for some of the variables to take effect, we sometimes need to kind of start a new session of the command. Oh, it didn't define. Interesting. Okay, may change something here. Let's see. May have some issues. I was expecting like some of the dot files I defined, like this after home, I defined a bunch of like configuration files for Vim, the editor. I was expecting it should start to link them, but I don't see them. Maybe the new Ubuntu changed some behavior. Maybe set it ignore that. I should expect after I issue link, I see the like those dot files, some of the dot file defined here to appear under my current directories. I don't see that. Let's see a bunch of other tools. So let's first install some tools. So this is the editor. Like from command line, you edit a file using keyboard. This tool and some other tools like Emacs or Vim is pretty much to get productive when you edit files using command line. It's especially important when you don't have a graphical interface, like you work on a server, you only have a network connections. You use those tools to actually modify a file. So here you navigate the files using keyboard, and they have like those commands to quit the files or do something. So like you can do selections of the files, you can do cut, you can undo, like pretty much the things you expect for a full-fledged editor would do, just using keyboard. For this class, it's not necessary you practice those, but it's very helpful if you want to actually get into programming or actually be more productive to be like so those tools are like touch typing. It need time and practice, so it's a very valuable skill set to have. Kind of get those under your skills set. So I'm a little bit confused why those didn't combine. Probably we'll leave that that way. Let's start to actually. We still have a lot to install, right? Let's do the Toolbox install. So Toolbox is a software from JetBrains, so pretty much the leading company for developer tools. For Linux system, it's this tar.gz file. So get it downloaded. So you'll notice the Android. I didn't show here. Yeah, Android Studio. So Google's Android Studio actually is powered by. I think there's a collaboration between this company and Google to actually become the official IDE for Android. And you'll see a lot of other tools like PyCharm, IDEA for like most Java-related things. So we're going to use this tool. Let's download it here. It's this. So I am going to create a new folder under my current directory, and I'm going to basically drag this in here. So we can also do exploration for like to see what this file is. So I Control C, kind of copy the file. I Control Shift V. So you copy the path into this command line. Let's see some more information about this file. So you notice it's a executable file. It has an X mark. It means we can actually execute it. So how do you execute this file? You can execute just by, so it itself is a command. If you look into the full qualified path, so you can execute this way. And it's actually executed, but it didn't find Java, which is oh, it is executed. Now sending, so term, okay. So it is running. So this is the graphic tools for kind of install other tools. I'm going to change its behavior a little bit. To always install the latest version. To install update automatically. Okay, so what I'm going to install is the community version of this, and also the community version of PyCharm. Okay, it will take a while. Cool. So it's over like a half an hour. I think I still going, but are you guys trying to follow? I think you can spend some time trying to follow what I'm doing. If you have questions, try to ask me. I will try to debug the issue of this dot files. wait till this run. We can continue like next time for more content.
Okay, so we just need to install all the files.
So you pretty much will do the same thing what I do, right? Like I think for install the toolbox, trying to install the softwares, and like I mentioned some of the commands. Like if you can kind of review those commands and try something pretty similar on both Linux and Mac. You're trying to go over something, install Vim, try to play around it. So just trying to trying to play with what we covered this lesson. I don't like we cannot cover everything in detail, like everything like you're going to be like to be very fluent on it, but at least like for all the things I covered, you guys have some concept or have played with a little bit. But every every class, we kind of make some progress to try to build the software in the end. So it doesn't matter like in each class there is something you missed or not totally understand, but we're making some progress here. I would love to have questions from you guys. Like if you have questions, you can share screen. Like something might be quick, just a quick note if I know. So I will give some time. Like you guys try to kind of recover whatever learned for this session. I'm also going to try to figure out why that doesn't work. Also, the video is posted online, so I think if you get into a habit of review something like you think you missed, like for the videos for the previous time, you probably will get you'll see exactly what I've done. Because this is also like a new environment, trying to set up a new machine. You will see exactly what problems I hit and how I try to solve them. Okay, so I'm trying to, those will take some time. I'm trying to figure out the dot files. So I may not speak kind of logically, but I'll try to see what happens. Yes. Also, I like the another terminal graphic tool. So this is a default. I believe this is a default. This is a default terminal application. I'm trying to get another one called Terminator. So that one has a little bit more function for the terminal. I'm trying to pin it here. So this one, I believe it allows you to do those kind of multi-window things. So I was trying to do it here, but you get a tab. So most of the time I will be using this one. In Mac, I have a video for the iTurn 2, kind of do the same thing. You can have like a multiple plane split in the window with some short keys. So for this one is Command Shift O. I can kind of split windows. So now I have like multiple sessions in front of me. I still don't know why those things doesn't register. Okay, so also here is Android Studio. I'm going to click it. So there are two ways to install Android Studio. One is from here. I prefer this way. So this way, like you get managed by this tool. Another way is going to the Android Studio homepage. Download it there. I prefer this way. So let me figure out the dot files. Oh, I think what happened is I don't have permission for this. Yeah, make sure you have correct access, right? So I actually didn't successfully clone this repo, which is reasonable because I use this git at github.com. I use this protocol. So even it's a public repository, there are two ways of doing. Huh. Okay. Now they want to promote this their own command. Interesting. So there are a couple of protocols for like clone the code from the even it's a public project. So one way is this way, using HTTP. Another way is they used to have, but I think now Microsoft trying to promote their own tools. So if we use this way, it will work for the public. It will get cloned. So now that we see the repos, we see like this dot files, which is my repo is there. But why this doesn't work? Now it's a different reason. But why this protocol doesn't work is because using this syntax, it's assumed you have the right access. You can change the files. In order to do that, we need to set up the authentications to my kind of user. I haven't done that because it's a brand new machine. I think we'll cover that probably next time to do this. But meanwhile, I have that. I can bootstrap my system. So you see, if I don't run the source command, it doesn't recognize this home sync command. If I source it, now I have also the tab completion. So a lot of times it will have if a command is there, you have some tab completion to help you not type the full tab. So I type a few characters, I hit tab, it come out on the full name. So now I'm doing this. Okay, now I ask the reasonable question that says I have. So if you look at the files I have right now, you see there are not too much dot files. Like I don't have win_rc dot files. Now it says I have conflict for -rc release. Like system already have a default one. We can copy the one. Let's see if we don't want to kind of lose it. We copy it to, let's see, original. Or we move it. So we move it. So you see we kind of change the file. We move the file. We rename it. Actually, it's renamed, right? So we can run it again. Okay, so now you see what happens. I get much more dot files compared to I run link command. So what happens under the hood is those files you see on this arrow, it points to the location of another file, which is here, which is under .homesync. So this is called a symbolic link. So we can have a kind of shortcut shortcut for the files into a file actually in a different place, but those files are shortcut. So you will see they have this arrow. So I defined those kind of RCs. So now we see let's see what is the bash command. Like bash RC defined. I kind of defined some other, like depending on my machine, like if a Mac machine, I'm running something, another script to initialize stuff, and I have something custom, and if it's in this is essentially on a Linux machine, kind of running this. So for this machine, it will actually trigger this initialization files, and then like some custom things. We can also quickly look at what's inside here and there. I would recommend you guys actually go through this, probably set up the same dot files, like see what in those there. It will kind of help you understand a little bit the system, like configurations for, especially in the command lines. So now I'm running vim, which is my preferred editor. I'm going to trying to customize other things. Now I think I have the mr command. Yes. So so this command so mr is my repo. It's kind of manage my repositories. It tries to kind of automatically clone some repositories I'm going to use. So there is a mr config file, which is defines some repositories I'm like most frequently use. I'm trying to get to bootstrap my computer the same way. So you see that mr config file is also kind of managed by my dot files. So that's how I bootstrap a new computer. And we'll see if we have this. We don't have this. So my my preferred terminal will be ZSH. It's like bash, a little bit different. So I installed this ZSH as a different. So if we do, you'll see this is bash. If we do ZSH itself, you'll see it's trying to initialize. It has a different prompt. So now you see we have this one. So you see the prompt of this terminal is different. So I like this one. It's customized a little bit, like times, and when on the repo, it also shows which branch you are in, and some other things. So now I think I can try to customize my editor. So for Vim, you can customize some of those plugins to kind of get code highlighters and kind of their appearance and colors, things like that. So it has a so Vim has a Vim RC. So usually those command line tools have something ending with RC. That's kind of their configuration files. So you see for Vim we have those plugins defined. So those are the kind of plugins I use for my Vim environment. So now you see it looks a little bit different, like the color a little bit different.
Can you show us which IDEs we need to install for from the JetBrains?
Yeah, so I installed 3 of them. Android Studio, community version of IDEA, IntelliJ IDEA, and PyCharm Community. So all of them are free. We'll use this one for a lot of the initial kind of code on the the actual core component of the software. So Android will do like the Android UI part. PyCharm is for some other stuff. Also for you guys, I also recommend you install the Atom. That's another editor. This one, or we can get this one. And so for Linux, it's a DEB because it's a Debian-based system. I'll do this one. Also, there is Microsoft VS Code. So can install this one. Yeah. Yeah, I may touch on something. I may touch on those two, like, but for most of the part, we'll kind of use the idea community version, like for the next few, I think, sessions when we talk about the compiling the first part of the application. So this class actually, I think, is mostly like an exercise. If you guys can follow along, like what I touch every lesson, I think you're something new. That would be great. Building the application itself, this application itself is actually very trivial when you get those tools in. Like it just builds itself. But I think the learning and the fun is actually like get the things working on your system, and try to figure out some of the caveats, like okay, why it doesn't work for things, or you learn some new tools. At least that's the kind of how I think the students trying to achieve. We'll also talk about maybe some background of those tools. I know a little bit about like the histories or things, but I'm also kind of learning this the hard way. Actually, not when I was kind of on your age. When I'm on your age, play too much computer games, I think. So I try to actually learn those things after when I start to work, and gradually figure out actually this is the tool and tool sets like people actually using to create software stuff like that. So if you get this in a younger age and at least see how the things piece together, it probably will be good. Yeah, I think we're close. I will try to continue to get my thing boot up. I think next time we'll actually see something running, which is exciting. So I get Atom. I try to get it running. So Atom is a editor built by GitHub engineers, and now it's bought by Microsoft. So not sure what's the future for this editor. Maybe it will just die because we have VS Code. Yeah, this is a editor like I use to browse a larger folder. It's a relatively lightweighted, and the more heavier ones will be like those ones. They have. I think next time when you bootstrap, you'll see there are a lot of bells and whistles. So I'm going to continue customize my editor. So you see this color doesn't really mix pretty. So I'm trying to optimize the profile of my current terminal. I'm going to change the color to a different planet. I'm going to use this planet. Solarized dark. It's probably good for my eyes. Okay, so now it looks better. Command. So here is one thing, run as a login shell. I'm going to click here. If you configure your terminal like this way, I also recommend doing this way. Running a command install my shell. So default shell is bash. So here I'm going to change it to ZSH. So basically, I'm going to change it to this one. So next time I open the terminal, it will be the this. Let's see it quickly. Okay, now it's. I think I'm good to go. I've got a pretty much same setup. Okay, that's it. I think the time is up. See you guys next time. I'll get a video up. Bye.